for some reggae. Now, if you tried a reggae strum before and you found it difficult, you're going to love this. I really break it down step by step, and I give you some very practical ways to practice it so you can get smooth. Now, if this comes pretty easy for you, make sure and get to the last few minutes because I have a great play-along track that you're going to enjoy. Let's do this! We're going to do two versions of this strum. A simpler one and a little more complex one. The first one is a great stepping stone to the next one because then we're just going to add something to it. I'd really encourage you to get this first one, and it's very practical and useful as well. Here's what it sounds like. So let's break this down. The technique we're using here is called a mute. We're going to put the palm on the strings to stop them from ringing. Now it's going to be next to the bridge, but not on top of the bridge. It's most noticeable once you've already struck the strings so that you can hear them being choked off or the sound stopping. So if I strum and then mute, the strings stop ringing. Go ahead and make an A chord, and let's try strumming and then mute. That's what we're looking for. It sounds simple, but you'll see as we start incorporating it, it's very effective. Strum, mute. Strum, mute. Okay, how you doing? You trying this along with me? Give it a shot, come on. Strum, mute. Strum, mute. Now, we're going to start with the mute. Ready, go. Mute, strum. Mute, strum. Mute, strum, mute, strum. I think we're ready to go on. Let's add a little more to this rhythm pattern. So we've got the mute and the strum, mute, strum. Now on the first strum, we're going to go down and up. So it sounds like this now. Mute, down, up, mute, down. So that's 4 beats. 1, 2, and 3, 4. I use and to indicate the coming up of this pick. Try that with me. You can just mute the strings right now just to get the pattern. Ready, hit it. Mute, down, up, mute, down. Let's do it again. Ready, hit it. Mute, down, up, mute, down. Again. Mute, down, up, mute, down. Let's try it with an A chord. Ready? Here we go. Mute, down, up, mute, down. Again. Ready, hit it. Mute, down, up, mute, down. Again. Mute, down, up, mute, down. Mute, down, up, mute, down. Mute, down, up, mute, down. Okay, it's starting to sound like a groove. We're going to need to pick it up a little bit. Let's try it with a drummer. First, we'll mute the strings, and then we'll try it with the A chord. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Start with a mute. Mute, down, up, mute, down. Mute, down, up, mute, down. Mute, down, up. Let's try it with the A chord now. Make your A chord. Here we go. 2, ready, start. Mute, down, up, mute. Good work. Now in this step, we're going to add a bass note to the pattern. Now I want to show you that the pattern you've learned up to now is useful. And if you want to stop here, that's fine. I would encourage you to skip ahead to the last minute or so of the video because I have a neat way for you to practice. But if you'd like to add a little more pizzazz to the strum, here's what it'll look like. Bass, down, up, mute, down. Bass, down, up, mute, down. Now, what I'm doing is a muted bass note, and that's another technique, similar to the palm of the entire strings, but I'm going to need to hit the string and mute it at the same time. If I hit it like this, it's not the same when I choke it off. So let's practice that. Open strings, we're going to hit the 5th string, and you're going to mute the strings at the same time. So you hear that? I'm choking the string right from the get-go. I'm not letting it ring. Try it. How's it sound? Sound like mine? Give Keep working it. Move the hand around a little bit. If it's too far in the bridge, it won't work. So now we're going to add that into the rhythm pattern. It's going to be this mute, and then you're going to go down, up. Let's try it without a chord first. We're going to mute the A string, and then go down, up. Try that with me. Ready? Hit it. Mute, down, up. Again. Mute, down, up. Muted bass note. That's a good technique. Okay, let's start with the A chord now. Make your A chord. We're going to mute, right? Not let it ring, and then down, up. Don't worry if you don't get it at first. It really does take practice for most people over a period of time. Here we go. Mute, down, up. And then mute, down, up. Again, mute, down, up. And I'm choking the strings right at the end of that. Ready? Mute, down, up. I call that choking when I let the strings ring and then stop the sound, as opposed to muting right from the get-go. Again, mute, down, up. Let's try the whole pattern now. So it's going to be that much, mute, down, up. Then I'm going to go down and then choke it off. Mute again. Ready? Mute, down, up, mute, choking off, and then strum down. Then start over, mute. And see, when you start over, it serves to choke off the strings again. Ready, go. Bass note, down, up, choke, down. Again, bass note, choke, down. Again. Choke. One more time. I think you're ready to try it with the drummer. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, hit it. Over the years, I've taught many people how to play guitar, and I've taught them strums like this one. And I found that until the student practices it for some period of time, it doesn't really sound right. So to that end, I have a play-along track for you to practice along with. Now, of course, you need to do some work before you play along with the track, but try it and see where you're at. You might find it's not that hard. And if it is hard, practice a little bit more and then come back. Now, 2 things you need to know. First of all, this play-along track is not some random play-along track. It's actually the chords to a Bob Marley song called 3 Little Birds. And more on that in a minute. Secondly, it's going to use just 2 chords. It's going to use that A chord that we've been using, but I'm going to throw in a D chord. So the thing you'll need to know about that is where the bass note is for the D chord. And I'm assuming, of course, you know your basic open D chord. So if you make your D chord, you're going to find the bass note on the 4th string, and it'll sound like this. Bass, down, up, mute, down. When you get to the A chord, bass, down, up, mute, down. Now again, I want to emphasize, it's really fine. Matter of fact, I encourage you at first to just do the simpler version, which is mute, down, up, mute, down. You can always add that bass note. It's actually more important to get the timing and be able to change chords in time. So you can always add a little more finesse to the strumming pattern, but the timing will get you 98% of the way there. So this pattern is going to look like this. We're going to do 2 bars of A, 1 of D, and 1 of A. Another way to say that is 2 strums. 1 strum equals 1 bar, 1 measure, same thing. 1 strum of A, 2 strums of A, 1 strum, that's the 3rd measure, of D, and then 1 strum of A. 4 bars total, and then it repeats. So it's going to be, that's 1, that's 2, then to D, 1 bar, and then back to A. And then it starts over. Now, when you start over, you're going to start on A again. So sometimes people lose count because they can't remember if that's the last bar or the first bar of the next circle. Let's practice it a little bit just to get the hang of that, getting back into it. I'll go very slowly, so just do the best you can. 1, 2, ready, start. Down, down, up, mute, down. Again, mute, down, up, mute, down. Now to D. Mute, down, mute, down. Back to A. Now we'll add that bass note. Bass note. That's one strum. 2. To the D. 3. And back to A. That's 4. Now we're going to start over. 1. 2. 3. And 4. One last time. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, I think you're ready. I'm gonna bring in the drummer and let's do this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the end of this lesson, but not the end of your adventures with reggae. Okay, maybe I'm exaggerating a little, but take your time and get to know this strum, and I promise you, you'll find lots of uses for it once it begins to feel kind of natural. Now, to help that along, not only do I have a play-along track, but I've created another lesson which is more in-depth on the Three Little Birds song by Bob Marley, and I'd really encourage you to try that out with this strum. As a matter of fact, I'll include a play-along track that you can actually play along, hear the melody, and see the chords as I'm playing them. So I'll put a link to that. Thanks for joining me today. It's been a pleasure. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment. Let me know how you're doing. I appreciate it. And if you're ready to get some more help, you'd be amazed at the amount of lessons and resources I have available. Check out my Real Guitar Success website, realguitarsuccess.com. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.